everybody, and welcome back to Lindsey's Little Library. So today I thought I would talk to you guys about the apps that I use on my phone that help me read more. I was having a conversation with somebody and they asked me how it is that I read as much as I do. And the first thing I was telling them was like, I really don't watch a lot of TV. And the second thing is that I have a lot of tools that help me make sure I'm reading as much as I possibly can. A, because it's something I love to do, and it helps me get to my goals. So, few apps that I want to talk about. You've probably heard of all of these, but I'll talk about how I use each of them myself. The first one that I think really helps me read as much as I do is my Kindle app. So I not only have my actual Kindle that I always make sure can fit in whatever purse I'm using. There's method to my madness. But I have it synced with the Kindle app on my phone. So if I am in a place where I am waiting in line, that happens every so often, I can just sit and read on my phone. And it picks up wherever I last left off on my Kindle because I have them synced together. I do have Kindle Unlimited. I probably don't use it as much as I could or should be using it. Yet I still find value in it. I do read probably one a month, which is probably worth it. But I do love the variety of books that are available through Kindle Unlimited, and you don't really have a set time limit that you have to then send that ebook back by. The other ones that I use for ebooks, I do use NetGalley, but I tend to send it to my Kindle, again, because I like to be able to read it on my actual Kindle as well as on my phone. If you just download it from the NetGalley app, you're restricted to only reading it on your phone. But I listen to any of my NetGalley audiobooks through the NetGalley app. Reading and or listening to the books that you get approved through NetGalley is fantastic through the app. Managing your account and requesting books, not so great. So there's plenty of room for improvement within the NetGalley app itself, but you do have to have that if you're going to be listening to any ARCs that you get through NetGalley. The other way I listen to books, obviously I have my Libby app and my Hoopla app. Those are the apps that will connect directly to your local library using your library card. You are limited on what your local library's agreement is as far as what books are available, whether there'll be long holds on them or they'll be available quicker. If you are fortunate enough to have multiple library cards, it could help out. And I want to say there are a few libraries out there where you can pay in order to have a card with them, like the bigger libraries. I want to say it's Boston has that, and I think New York did, but it might be ending. Don't quote me on that one. But Libby and Hoopla, I use both of them pretty equally. Hoopla I tend to use more for audiobooks than I do anything else. And then, of course, I have my favorite Libro FM. This is one that I'm actually working with. I'm part of their advanced listener group, so I get to pick a number of early released audiobooks through their whatever they have available for ALC's advanced listener copies. As well as it's a really great place that if I want to get my hands on a specific audiobook and I'm just not having any luck either through my library or any other means, I wholeheartedly will pay for it and purchase it through Libro FM because a part of my proceeds will go and support an independent bookstore, either one of my choosing, or they'll pick for me. It's a really, really great website. I love their app. It's fantastic. And I've read some really great books. I'm actually listening to a book right now through my Libro app, and it's The Swiss Nurse. It is historical fiction based around the Spanish War and fleeing Spain into France. And it's right kind of at the beginning, or World War II hasn't really started yet, but it's kind of working its way up. So it's just a really interesting perspective in history. I really love the narrators. It's fantastic. So Libro FM always helps. So anytime I am doing something mundane that it doesn't necessarily take a lot of thought to do, so walking my dog, I listen to a book every single time. Doing the dishes or sweeping the floor or any sort of housework, folding laundry, if I can have a book in my ear, I am absolutely doing so. I know a lot of people are able to do that at work. I'm not quite always able to do that. If it's something mundane, I could probably listen to it, but not on a regular basis. All right, the app of choice that I use to track all of my reading is Goodreads. I really do enjoy their app from that perspective, as well as from logging the books that I own. I love that their app is able to scan, and of course I grab an ARC that doesn't have a barcode. I love that their app is able to scan a barcode, and it will just scan the cover and help you find it so you can put it on the appropriate shelf. So logging multiple books in an app, Goodreads makes it by far the easiest to do. And you can create different shelves and you can organize in different ways. You can use it as much or as little as you want to. I mainly use it to track the only reading goal I set for myself, which is hardly a goal. It's just my reading challenge. I want to read 50 books every year. I couldn't tell you the last time I didn't blow that out of the water. But it tracks what I'm currently reading, where I am within the book, as well as what I've read for the year. Now, my wonderful friend Sarah really has a number of shelves and a number of different lists created within her Goodreads to organize new releases that she knows is coming out, arcs that she has, books that she's read. She has a plethora. So does Amanda. Amanda has a ton of shelves as well. I don't quite go that far down the rabbit hole. I just don't see value in knowing that information at this time. But the Goodreads gives you a lot of options for how to organize the books that either you've read or want to read or whatnot. There is a new app that I'm just kind of getting into, and it's called Likewise. And so it's similar to Goodreads in a sense. So Likewise is, again, similar to Goodreads, where you put in the books that you've read and what you've liked, what you've not liked. It doesn't necessarily require a star rating. It just requires a like or not like. And then it will curate lists of books that are similar to the ones that you liked and give you suggestions. Again, I'm at the very tip of exploring Likewise. So if anyone out there uses that app, let me know if that's something I need to keep going, or if there's something in there that you really love. I want to keep exploring that. And I definitely I like using a variety of apps for book recommendations because I do get a variety of suggestions from them. And I like that different approach to it because I have this like FOMO, this fear of like missing this really cool book that's out there and I just don't know about it. Yeah, I know it's irrational. Okay, a couple of things that help me read a lot more than probably most people do is I have my YouTube app, which everybody should have their YouTube app, I'm just saying. And there's a couple things I use on this app, not only to talk to you guys about books, because the more I talk about books, the more excited I get to read and the more I read. But there's a couple other things. I am a total sucker for reading sprints lately. My dog keeps moving my camera. I'm a total sucker for reading sprints lately. I have been joining them pretty regularly, at least once a week, and it's amazing how much I can get read in just that chunk of time, knowing that my assignment at that moment is just to read. So Krista from Books and Jams puts on amazing reading sprints. There's usually at just about any point in time of the day, you can go on and search reading sprints and somebody is hosting them. The reading sprints I enjoy the most are ones where there's 30 minutes, well, maybe 40 minutes or less of reading time and then quick little breaks in between. Just the way that my life is right now, it just doesn't work for me to sit down for 60 minutes non-interrupted read. Those shorter sprints give me the time to say, yes, I'll be with you in 10 minutes if someone needs me, or to just mentally know, okay, in 15 minutes when we take a break and we start kind of chatting in the comments, I can go do whatever I need to do. So I prefer those shorter reading sprints. 40 minutes is probably my max. 20 to 30 is like key. I love it. The other thing I use on YouTube are some different ambient rooms. So I don't do well in silence. I grew up in a big family. We always have people around. I always right now have people around. So I like to have that kind of white noise in the background. So there's plenty of times that chaos will be ensuing around me, and usually I can tune that out, but a good ambient room, if I stick my earbuds in and turn that on, I can usually drown everything else out. So I really like it for that. And then obviously BookTube creators and their wonderful advice gets me excited and wanting to read more as well. When I find myself in reading, like a reading slump, I will either listen to or watch different creators and what they're suggesting, what their favorite books are, what their book recommendations are, or I go to my podcast app and I listen to Currently Reading. Is pretty much my go-to. Every so often I'll listen to Anne Bogle's What Should You Read Next? There's reading glasses that I'll listen to every so often, but I really just go to Currently Reading, and they get me so excited to pick up books. It is very rare that I will listen to an episode and not add a book to my wish list, my TBR, or just buy it. So that one, again, it just gets me back into that love of reading. Now, since I have read a lot, I listen to a lot, I have a collection of them, I also like to get rid of them every so often, as well as I'm looking for cheap books. So Pango is a newer app that I've started to use probably in the last few months or so. Now, I am a fan of thrift books. It can kind of be clunky. I'm a fan of Book Outlet sometimes. But for some reason, Pango has been working out really, really well for me, not only finding books that I'm looking for at a really reasonable price, as well as selling it. They make it so easy for the user or for the buyer and the seller, I should say. Similar to Goodreads, where you can scan the cover, on Pango, you scan the barcode and it usually matches up with whatever book you're trying to sell. Take a picture of it, it fills in the details for you, you talk about what condition it is. The only thing is the condition is really up to the seller and what their viewpoint is on the condition. So what I think might be excellent might not be excellent to somebody else. But so you just kind of understand that going into it. And then you set your price. And then when someone buys that book, Pango sends you the shipping label and the instructions. So I just have to take them out to my mailbox, or you drop them into a blue box, or you just drop them at the post office. It's super, super easy. In fact, I just got a new Pango book in the mail today. Pango is almost too easy when you are at book club and you might have had a few beers and then all of a sudden you're buying books all over the place. But I digress. Pango is a great place to source your books as well as to get rid of your books. As far as like browsing, I don't really browse Pango. If I'm going on there, I'm looking for a specific book I either heard about in a podcast, I saw on YouTube, I've been suggested, however that might come to me. And so the last app I want to talk about is just kind of how I connect with other readers. And so I've been in and out of the buddy read game a little bit. I'm a fan of it. I'm just not always the best at setting them up. So if you're one to buddy read with me, like just keep poking the bear and we'll get it going. I'm just horrible about setting them up. But my app that I go to for buddy reads is Voxer. So it's with a V, Voxer. This is a really great kind of walkie-talkie-ish app. More like you're leaving voice messages for people. That's probably a better way to describe it. So you can discuss how you're going to break down the book. You can type in little headers. And so the one that I just did with Tammy, we typed in and decided we're going to break this book up into 3 parts. And then when we talk about part 1, we type in part 1, and then we speak about what we think about what happened in that part. It's just so easy. It's a really great way to connect with people that maybe you don't want to give super personal information out to. Voxer is, you're able to connect with each other just through a username. So super easy. Anyways, those are the apps that I rely on pretty regularly that definitely have helped me read more in the last few years. It's amazing what simple little things and little changes and just picking up a book, again, when you're waiting in line or waiting for soccer to start or waiting to pick up a child from school or whatever, wherever you find yourself with some downtime or find yourself mowing the lawn, I listen to a book. Okay, sometimes I listen to music, but mostly I listen to a book. So there's just plenty of times to get in those extra pages, and it's amazing and how quickly those will add up, or how you'll get into a book to the point where the book just grabs you and now it consumes you and you just can't stop. So if you have any apps that you use on a regular basis that help you read more or help give you really good book suggestions, link them below or let me know what they are below. Otherwise, if you use Likewise, tell me all about that too, because I'm just starting to get into it. Otherwise, like, comment, subscribe, and all that fun stuff, and I'll see you next time. Bye.